Reggie here, your friendly neighborhood bodybuilder and comic book collector, and I want to welcome you to another one of my recordings. In this recording, I want to spend a little bit of time talking about another emotion that affects us as comic book collectors and as collectors in general, and it is the emotion of jealousy. And I was taught some very early lessons by my mother on jealousy when I was really young. And these lessons have stuck with me for a long period of time and have been something that I've hearkened back to time and time again. A lot of people probably don't notice unless you listened to maybe one of the interviews that I've done recently on other people's channels, in which I talked about the fact that I was born and raised in Detroit, Michigan, specifically on 7 Mile, a street called Finlawn. I was raised there. But I was actually born to a 17-year-old. My mother was 17 years of age when she had me, and I was literally raised by a village of people. I was literally raised by a village of people. I grew up with my mother, my grandmother, and my great-grandmother, right? We didn't all live in the same house, but I used to spend a significant amount of time with those people along with my great-grandfather that basically helped to raise me, especially during summers. But I grew up with a lot of family around me, protecting me and helping to raise me and teach me the right things and all that kind of stuff. But one of the lessons that my mother taught me very early on, and I assume that this is a lesson that she actually learned from her mother and learned from my great-grandmother, and it's the thing of jealousy. We, like many people out there, grew up with, very humble things, right? We were not an affluent family at all, right? And so we were always surrounded by people in the suburbs of Detroit that had a lot more than we had. And even in the city of Detroit, there were people that had more than us. And it could have been, newer cars, newer houses, newer clothes, better bike, better toys, better this, better everything. No matter how much and no matter how good you have it, there is always someone that has more than you. And so my mother's lesson to me early on was, don't be jealous of what someone else has because you do not know how they got that thing. And it's actually a really legitimate argument because you don't know the story behind what it is that you are actually seeing that person have. And they may pretend that it's one thing, but the reality could be very different, especially if you don't know that person. So why be jealous? Why be jealous of what someone else has? And for anyone that knows anything really about Detroit has a lot of stuff going on. Detroit has a lot of stuff going on, and a lot of it is not, honest stuff, right? There's a lot that goes on there. And so my mother's lesson to me was a really important one to basically say, don't be jealous of what other people have, because that jealousy can lead you down a dark path. It can lead you down a bad path, because in that jealousy, you sometimes do things in order to get stuff, in order to be like other people, without realizing that maybe those people did some things that weren't necessarily right, or they were given those things, or they worked really, really hard to get it. They worked really, really hard to get that thing that you're jealous of, and instead of you going out and taking it, then maybe you should work for it, right? So her message was, don't be jealous because you don't know how they got that thing. And that lesson that she taught me specifically around this thing has stuck with me all of these years because it is a very valuable lesson. I went away to college and there was an RA that worked on my floor. I lived on the 3rd floor of Drew Hall at Howard University in Washington, D.C. There was an RA on that floor that was the sharpest dressed guy I had ever met. And, when we grew up, we didn't have a lot, but whenever we left the house, we were always dressed a certain way, right? My mother taught me a man has two things. A man always has a belt on and a t-shirt. To this day, I still wear a belt and a t-shirt. The lesson she taught me, some went in and out of my head, others stuck with me. To this day, I still do those things. But we always were dressed appropriately when we left the house and were in public. We held ourselves to a very high standard. But I met this guy at Howard University in 1994, and this dude was sharp. He was sharp, and he would go to the mall and he would come back to the dorm with bags from like Nordstrom and all of these really high-end stores. And I remember he had these boots. They were some polo boots, Ralph Lauren polo boots, and I wanted those boots so bad. I was like, how did you get those boots? And yeah, he had a job as an RA, but I'm like, I can't pay you that much, right? But long story short, this guy disappears. He disappears the second semester of my freshman year. And I think he was a sophomore or junior, I can't remember, but he disappears. We're like, where is this dude? Like, you're knocking on his door like, hey, where are you? I locked myself out of my room. I need to get in. We can't find this dude. And the rumor is that the police, some say the FBI, some say police, law enforcement shows up at the dorm looking for this guy. Supposedly he and his brother were running all kinds of credit card scams, and that's how they were buying the stuff. He and his brother were running credit card scams, and that is how they were buying all of this stuff. And it's just, again, I was a little jealous, right? But I did not necessarily do anything crazy to get, what this guy had gotten. But you never know the story behind how it is that people do the things that they do and how they get the things that they get. Now, if you are new to this channel, you are probably like, what is this dude talking about? And if you are someone that has been part of the channel for a while, you already know that I'm about to connect it back to comics. This is the fun that I get to have, where I get to do this. If you are new here and you're like, what is going on? If I make this turn successfully and do it really well, I want to invite you to hit the subscription button, to actually subscribe to the channel so that you can be a part of what it is that I do here, because this is the kind of stuff that I do. If I do it well, I want you to subscribe. If I don't, I still want you to subscribe, because maybe I can do it better next time. But so here's what it has to do with comics, right? I see a lot of people make comments on YouTube videos and also on Instagram where they will say, I am jealous of that book. People will post up books on the Instagram and they will show books on their YouTube channel, and there will be people that will say, I am jealous of that. I am jealous of that book right there. And the truth of the matter is that no one, and this is me, this is my opinion, no one should be jealous of what someone else has done or is showing, because you don't know how they got it. They could be like this dude. No, I'm joking. But the truth of the matter is you don't know how people have the things that they have, because there are some people out there that have actually inherited books from older family members, and that's how they've gotten it. And that is not to discredit them. I'm not saying that you should discredit them. What I'm simply saying is that these people have these really fantastic books, but it's through inheritance. It's through inheritance. And so don't be jealous of that, right? I mean, they have lost someone, which is something that has to be acknowledged first and foremost. But the other part of it is that it's also amazing that this person was a relative of, had this kind of collection and left it for them. That is fantastic. That is fantastic, and that should be celebrated. That is not something that should inspire jealousy, right? There are other people out there that have these fantastic books that have sacrificed to get those books. They have bought books, sold lots of books, done a lot of saving, done a lot of scrimping, passed on a lot of things in order to get the book that they're putting up on the Instagram machine or sharing on YouTube. Don't be jealous of the hard work that these people have done to get that book. What you should be is inspired by what they've done. I know people out there that don't have highfalutin jobs, but they have amazing collections. They have amazing collections because they have been working to build that collection from chump change books, and they have sold them and bought them and sold them and bought them in order to buy killer books. These people have worked hard to get those books. Many other people that are showing books have actually been in the hobby for 30 and 40 years. I know a guy shows these fantastic golden age books, but then when you talk to him, what you realize is that he's been a collector for 30 some odd years. The guy's in his 40s. How have you been collecting that long? Stick-to-itiveness. This dude has amassed this fantastic collection because this is what he has been doing. When I have been out of the hobby personally, when I've been out of the hobby, in the hobby, out of the hobby, this dude was in it and has been in it for 30 some odd years. That is impressive. That should be acknowledged and also honored. There's a book called Outliers. I don't know if you guys have read this book called Outliers. And it's this concept. I'm going to paraphrase it. The concept is that there are people out there that a lot of people will say appeared out of nowhere. They appeared out of nowhere with all this talent, this, that, and the other. The truth is that people will toil in obscurity for 10 years or so before they achieve any kind of true notoriety. They have toiled for 10 years before they are recognized by anybody. And people that recognize them say they came out of nowhere. No, they didn't. They were grinding for 10 years. Basketball players come out of nowhere. No, they didn't. They were playing in Pee Wee League back in the day. They were playing pickup games at the ballpark. They didn't come out of nowhere. They've been grinding, doing the work that has to be done in order to achieve what it is that they've achieved. That should be celebrated. Don't be jealous of that. Be motivated by it. The thing that I've talked about several times on the channel is things like, is it possible to build an impressive collection in this day and age? The answer is yes. Yes, it is. And there is a path to doing it. But you have to discover what that path is. What I kind of sort of tell people is that if you see someone that is posting up a killer book, someone that is showing something that you are envious of, first, don't be envious. Second, ask them how they did it. Try to figure out how they did what they did and listen to what it is that they say. Because a lot of times there is a story behind it. It just didn't happen. There was work that was done to actually get the books. I have posted up books on my Instagram page where I've had people say, I am jealous of that book. My response is don't be. Don't be jealous of what I've done. Be inspired by what I've done. I've had people that have looked at posts that I've put up and said, well, you have it at this grade and mine's a lower grade. I guess mine's nothing. No, that's not. That's incorrect. Don't do that. Don't let anybody poo-poo what it is that you've accomplished. What you've accomplished is significant and it should be honored. The same way that what I've accomplished should be honored, but you can't necessarily compare them. They're both good. They're both fantastic. Let's celebrate both of them. Don't let one rain on the parade of the other. That is not what this is about. When I put up books on my Instagram page, when I show books and videos, my goal is not to make anyone envious of what it is that I have done. That is not my goal. My goal is to simply do a couple of things. To share my collection with people that I think appreciate these books. The other part is that I want to inspire people. Because the truth of the matter is that the collection that I have right now is not a collection that I've always had. No one gave me this collection. I didn't have this collection at the end of 2017, the beginning of 2018. I have worked for it. I had a plan. I had goals. I set goals. I took those goals down. I made new goals. I have sacrificed for these books. I have bought books, sold books, saved money in order to buy these books. I have resisted the temptation of other books and the allure of other books so as to pull my resources together so that I could go buy these things, to have them on my collection, and that I could share them and say, look what I did. You can do it too. Because that is the truth of the matter, is in the video that I've done where I'm talking about, is it possible to build a collection in this day and age? The answer is yes. Yes, it's possible. I've done it. And that is not an egotistical statement. That is a statement, one, of fact. And two, I am trying to say to you, you can do it too. And in fact, if you look at the various videos that I put out there for people to consume, I am telling you how to do it. I had a person once tell me that I was going to regret a video that I recorded. And in this video, I was basically showing people and telling people where I buy books on various platforms like OfferUp and LetGo. These were two things when and I did the videos probably more than a year and a half ago. And the person was like, you're gonna regret that decision. Why would I ever regret a decision of helping someone? I've never had that feeling. I help that person, I feel bad. No, if I help somebody, I am feeling good about the fact that I did that because that person is now happy. That person is doing something awesome that they wanted to do. But when I do these videos, I'm basically giving you the building blocks that I have used to get the collection that I have. And so I'm putting it out there for you to be able to assemble in an order that actually makes sense. I'm giving these pieces to you in the hope that you can make them work for you, because I don't know your personal situation. I don't know how much discretionary income you have. I don't know the books that you have in your possession that you might be able to sell in order to go buy these other books. But what I can do is I can tell you how I think. I can show you my approach. I can share with you my philosophy. I can give you these bits and pieces with the hope that they will motivate and inspire and inform you to be able to figure out how you can make real your own goals. That is what this is about. In my mind, that's what this is about. So whenever someone comments on one of my posts, I'm jealous. I wish I had that book. My thing is, be inspired by what I've done and figure out how you can do it yourself, because there is a way to do it. There is a method to getting there. Now, what is the method specifically for you? I don't know that, right? But these are some of the pieces that I put out there in the videos, and I do the videos with the hope that they're actually going to help people. That is what this is about. Don't be jealous of what someone else does. I can tell you for a fact that there are people that put up books on Instagram that I have no interest in. They tag me on Instagram showing these books, and I have no interest in them. I see the videos and people are unboxing them. I have no interest in those books. But what I can tell you is that I am still happy for those people. You guys know the silly look that I get on my face when I open up something that I'm really happy about, and you get that same silly smile on your face. And you're sitting there smiling at the computer or at the TV or at your phone. You're sitting there smiling. I get that same feeling when I see somebody that is really excited about a comic and they open it up and they are just soaking it in. I think it was Los that I saw open up a book just the other day. And he opened up the book and he got silent. And he just kind of stared at it. And I was like, ooh, I know that feeling. I know that. I know what that's like. And I was happy for him. Right? And this happens a lot where people open these books and I'm like, I have no interest in that book. But I am happy for this person that has achieved this goal, that has brought that type of joy into their heart. That to me is fantastic. There is no jealousy. There is no jealousy, but there is a whole lot of joy. So don't be jealous, be inspired, be motivated. Ask the question of how did you do that? And then figure out for yourself how to assemble the pieces to achieve your own goals, because it is possible for you to do it. But you have to use the emotions the right way and not get caught up in the emotions, because you never know. You never know what somebody had to do to get the thing that you're looking at. If you ever need some help with sorting out how you want to go about achieving your goals, you can always reach out to me. And again, a lot of the pieces are in the various videos that I release, but I release a lot of videos, so I get I get why you might not be able to find it. But if you need some help sorting some stuff out, reach out to me. Send me a message on Instagram, because that's like the best way for me to engage with people, because I can use voice notes and video and text to respond to people. So you can reach out to me on Instagram, because again, it's a great way for me to facilitate a response, and that's Regie Collects. If you absolutely need to send me an email, you can send me an email, but I tend to be a little bit more brief in email just because it takes me more time to type it out and that kind of stuff. But if you need to reach out to me, you can do it. And so again, the Instagram is Regie Collects. The email is reggie@regiecollects.com. And I'm happy to help. I'm happy to help in any way, shape, or form that I can. But I enjoy doing these videos where we talk about emotion and stuff like that. There's ample videos on the channel where I talk about this more. I think I actually have a playlist set up where I actually dig into some of the emotions that affect us as comic book collectors and collectors in general. And I would definitely encourage you to check out some of that content, because it may actually answer some of the questions that you might actually message me about. But you can always reach out to me, because I am absolutely, I will make myself available to be able to help you. But if you need me, I am around. I am not too hard to find. Take care.